truth of the matter is that halfway through this review, my microphone messed up. And I got really emotional and I started crying like a little baby and I could barely even talk while giving this review about that Batman letter.
Gracias por ver La Esquina de Jody. Thank you for watching Jody's Corner.
YouTube was good. It's your boy Jody Jones. We are here for another comic review, baby. Yeah. Woo! I just got finished. Well, I read this yesterday. Flashpoint. What a really good read. And I just got finished reading it yesterday, and I read it only once, and I'm going by what I read only once. I haven't even seen the animated movie yet. So everything that's going to be talked about in this comic review is going to be taken straight from the comic Flashpoint. So this is brought to us by Geoff Johns, Andy Kubert, and Sandra Hope. Geoff Johns is also doing the films, as you guys know. He did a lot of work with Wonder Woman, hence why that movie was so great. But what is Flashpoint about? Well, basically, Flashpoint is a separate story within canon. It's canon, but it's also telling a story about an alternate timeline. This is all about the Flash and consequences that he had to go through from doing Flash things. As we all know, that Flash's mother was murdered, and his father was sent to prison for the murder of his mother. And Flash knows that his mother wasn't murdered by the father, but there was no proof. Barry Allen knew that his mother was murdered by Reverse Flash. He has a really weird name. Let's call him Thawne. I think it's Thawne. His last name is Thawne. He's a doctor from the year 2025. I think he's from the future. I can't remember the exact year he's from, but he's from the future. I believe they said it was 2025, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so basically, this is a story that begins where Flash is working in the crime investigation unit. Basically, he went to be employed as a crime scene investigator, and because he wants to solve his mother's murder. That's why he got into it. And it's a regular day. He's at his desk. He wakes up. His friend wakes him up. Flash, hey Barry, get up. He's like, yeah, what's going on? And he's like, yo, we have to do this new piece that we've been working on for the last 18 hours. We got to finish it or the boss is going to get on us. He's like, yeah, he's looking at his computer and he sees Citizen Cold is doing this. He's like, Citizen Cold? Who is Citizen Cold? I mean, like Captain Cold? But in this universe, he's like, Captain Cold? You mean Citizen Cold? Yeah. And Barry's like, what is the Rogues Gallery? I guess the Rogues Gallery is running amok again. And his friend is like, the Rogues Gallery? Who's the Rogues Gallery? And Barry's like, Flash's mortal enemies, the guys who cause terror to this city. He's like, the Flash? Who's the Flash? And Barry's like, you tripping, bro? I gotta get the freak up out of here, man. Anyway, let me see what's going on. He runs to get out the freaking building, trips down some stairs, finds out he doesn't have his Flash ring, so he can't, and he doesn't have his powers either. So he's running and he's tripping because he realizes, I don't have my powers and I don't have my Flash suit. So everything is weird for him. It starts off really quick. So here we are in the beginning of this story where Flash has no powers. People are talking crazy about Citizen Cold. He's learning all these different weird things that ain't making sense. And then he runs to try to go save the city from Citizen Cold. And his suit don't pop out and he ain't got no powers. It's crazy. He falls down the stairs and this woman helps him up and says, Barry. He looks up and he sees an aged version of his mother. He's like, Mom? He's like, yeah, Barry, it's my birthday. You gotta take me out on my birthday. He's Mom. He's like, Mom, what are you doing here, Mama? What the frick, Mama? He hugs his mama. It's a nice little passionate little hug. She's like, dear, of course, it's me and your mom. We've been doing it every year. He's like, what the freak is going on here, bro? I freaking wake up at a desk, and now my mama's here. They tell me ain't no Flash, it's no Rogues Gallery, and it's Citizen Cold. What the freak? So his mom is asking, what's going on, honey? What's going on? He's like, yeah, Mom, I'm going through a lot of things. There's some things. It's crazy how you're here. And then he gives her that embraceful hug. And she's like, oh, Barry, it's nice to see you too and all that. He's like, yeah, I gotta tell you a secret, Mom. She's like, yeah, what is it? He's like, I'm the Flash. Honey, the Flash? Who's the Flash? He's like, oh, what the freak? Whoa, I'm the Flash. Flash? You know, Mama, like a superhero? Like Superman? Superman? He's like, oh, fuck, you know Superman, what the freak? A superhero, you know, fight crime, Mama? Oh, you mean, do you know Batman? She's like, oh yeah, who doesn't know Batman? Of course they know Batman. Of course Batman's, okay, of course he's the guy, right? This is DC after all. So now that Barry Allen knows that what the freak is going on, but people know who Batman is. And Barry Allen knows where Bruce Wayne lives in Wayne Manor. First thing he does is he goes to Wayne Manor. He goes to Wayne Manor. He sees Wayne Manor is in shambles. It's a wreck. It's not upkept. There's no Alfred. It's just torn apart. It looks like it's been abandoned and hobos have been sleeping in that motherfreaker. But the secret passage is still the same that, you know, that Bruce Wayne had. So he goes, he knocks the clock to the side, finds the secret passage, goes down into this bat cave, and he goes down there and sees just barren, dark emptiness. You know how Bruce Wayne's Batman cave is all high-tech and beautiful? This is not that case. This is not the case here. It's just a laptop, desktop computer on a table, a fold-out chair that you take to your barbecue picnics and shit. Shit look real derpy. And there's a gun in a glass case. And Barry's like, what the heck is going on here? And then you see a picture of Bruce Wayne, Thomas Wayne, and Martha Wayne, the family, and he's like, what is happening? And as he's looking at this picture, you hear this voice, someone grabs him like, what the frick are you doing here? Bow! Beats the shit out of him. Who are you? And he pops up, whew. And I'm like, God dang, nigga, it's a Batman with red eyes. Basically, this Batman with red eyes is not the Batman that we know. It's at this point where he's like, yo, Bruce, stop hitting me. He's like, why did you say Bruce? Why did you say Bruce? He's like, you're Bruce Wayne, you're Batman, I'm the Flash, I'm your friend, I'm your superhero buddy, Justice League. He's like, what the freak are you talking about? You sound crazy. He said, I watched Bruce die, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, you're the Batman? Wait, you're Thomas Wayne. You lived? And that means that Bruce died. And it's at this point where he starts to realize, I'm in a whole nother motherfucking world. I'm in a different timeline. Barry Allen got transferred to a different timeline, and he's automatically understanding that this son of a bitch Reverse Flash altered time, because the powers that the Reverse Flash has, let me explain the Reverse Flash to you guys. They did a good job of explaining it in this book. The Reverse Flash is a negative energy to what the Flash produces. The Flash produces the Speed Force. He gets a negative Speed Force, which gives him different powers than the Flash can. He can deteriorate anything that he touches. He can also travel in the past, and he lives within it. He's also from the future. There's a couple of other traits in there that he can do that's different from the Flash, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So Zoom, he also has that reverse costume of the yellow and red and black. It's just reversed of what the Flash has. So it's really dope how they do that, man. So basically, Barry Allen is blaming Reverse Flash for doing this stupid shit again and wrecking the whole timeline. And he says to Batman, look, I don't know what this is, but my enemy is doing this and we got to stop it. This is a different timeline. Thomas Wayne ain't having that shit. Like, what the freak are you talking about, bro? You in my Batcave, bro. You walking down here. You in my Batcave. How you know where I be at, bro? No one knows where I'm at. You already talking about, you looking at my pictures of my family and shit, bro. I ain't fit, bro. We gonna have to handle this, bro. And you know, he's just and Barry Allen is just trying to get his shit together. But when he said, and then he starts to explain himself, like, listen, I'm a superhero. I have super fast speed, and I'm really fast. And Thomas Wayne goes, Nick, punches the shit out of him. He goes, oh, what you hit me for, bro? Batman says, you weren't fast right there. So what the freak are you doing here, bro? And she was funny. He said, if you're super fast, why'd I punch you? It was tight. I said, okay, so that was nice. I like Thomas Wayne, by the way. I love his version of Batman. So he goes over there. You see his dark, depressing area. You got alcohol everywhere and ripped up shit all over the place. So he's like, Thomas, I can prove that I have superhero powers, Because once he got punched by Batman, his ring fell out of his pocket. He said, look, here's my Flash ring. Let me show you the costume. He said, a costume in this? He said, pow. And the costume flew out, but it wasn't Flash's costume. It was the Reverse's Flash's costume. So basically that was Reverse Flash letting Flash know that Reverse Flash is the one responsible for this. You know, he's playing a little mind games with Barry. So he's like, oh God. He said, yeah, what's going on, huh? What is this? And he's like, oh, it's my enemy, the Reverse Flash. He's the one that did all this. Oh my God, I gotta make it right. I used to have powers, Thomas. You have to understand, I don't have them no more, and I need to get my powers back. And this is a different timeline. He said, why did you know my son's name? He said, because in my world, your son is alive and you were the one that died. And Thomas is like, so basically, if I help you, Bruce will live? He says, yes, Thomas, Bruce lives and he's Batman. And that instantly made him pause like, okay, I'll listen to your story and I'll help you. That right there let me know that Thomas, freak his world. Thomas Wayne didn't give a shit about the time that he was from. He didn't care about their villains. He was murdering and killing people. There was a scene where Batman was chasing a bootleg Harley Quinn. Her name was Yo-Yo. He tackled her from the back and basically said, tell me where he is. She was like, oh, no. He ain't for that shit. She was playing the Harley Quinn games. I don't know, it's on the tip of my tongue. He's like, oh, tip of your tongue? Get the freak out of here, bitch. Woof! Throw her off a motherfucking cliff. I ain't lying. She was like, she was gonna die, bruh, if Cyborg didn't come and save her life. Last second, Cyborg flies in all big and shit. Ooh. And he flies and catches her, and then he flies to the top of the building. Cyborg is like, Batman, I need your help. This world is a mess. And Batman turns down Cyborg, and he turns down all of the rest of the team that Cyborg got together to try to fight Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Because in this world, Barry Allen not only figures out that Batman is different, that there is no Superman for what he knows, and that there's weird crap with his villains, but he also figures out that this is a world of chaos where the Atlanteans are at war with the Themyscirans. Aquaman is the head of the Atlanteans, who's at war with Wonder Woman, the head of the Amazons. And they've been going to war for so many times. Millions of people have died. It's a messed up world. People are scavenging for food and safety and shelter. The government is trying to fight back, but they're useless. Cyborg is basically the Superman of this story. Cyborg has a really big part in Flashpoint, and I like what they did with Cyborg. He works for the government. He basically is the Secretary of Defense. I believe Cyborg is the Secretary of Defense in this story, so that's pretty dope. So Flash understands that this is wrong. I gotta change this shit and get back to my time. But what he figures that the more more time he's there, the more chance it is that everybody will die. Because after he convinces Thomas Wayne that he actually can be a superhero, that's when Thomas Wayne decides to listen to what Barry's plan is. Like, Barry, what's your plan to get your powers then? He said, just take me to a rooftop. They basically re-simulated the events of what gave him his powers in the first place. They had all these chemicals. They went outside on top of Wayne Manor where it's always stormy and electricity and shit. They put this lightning rod to a chair, put all these chemicals. Bruce Wayne had them all in his house, but whatever. I mean, Thomas Wayne had all the chemicals that he needed in his house. Who knows why, but because he's Batman, I guess. Sits him in the chair. He's like, you're crazy. You're going to shock yourself. Yes, he said, yeah, that's what it takes. That's how I became the Flash. He's like, whatever, motherfucker. And the lightning bolt comes, hits the rod, shocks the shit out of him. All the chemicals around him blowing up, and then he catches on fire. Like, his whole body engulfed in flames. Thomas is like, fuck! Pats him out. And then it just it uncovers his body, and Barry is just completely charred. Like, looks like 4th degree burns over his entire body. He is done. Bruce takes him back downstairs. He's already trying to get up out the table. Like, no, I'm sorry, Thomas. Barry Allen is trying to get him off the table to go back upstairs. He's like, no, I gotta do it again. Thomas is like, you sick freaking bastard. I thought I was dark and twisted. What the freak you doing? You burnt up, bruh. Why are you trying to shock yourself again? He says, I gotta do it. Thomas is like, all right. Took him back upstairs, put him back in that chair. He got hit with that motherfucking lightning bolt again. This time, the lightning bolt shock knocks Batman off of the roof because of the impact of the bolt was way bigger than the first one. And it actually did the trick because it showed little flash eyes in his eyeballs. So it let us know, the reader, Barry Allen got his powers back. And as Thomas Wayne is falling off in slow motion because he's the Flash again, he runs down and catches him right before his head hits like a pointy gate and almost dies. And he catches him and he's like, see, I told you I'm the Flash. And Thomas is like, all right, for sure. If I help you, this world is going to change and I disappear and my son lives. That's the deal. He's like, deal. So then Batman, after turning down Cyborg, comes back to Cyborg and says, look, you still want me to join that team? He's like, yeah. He says, I'm in. Cyborg's like, why you change your mind? He's like, whatever, motherfucker, let's just do this shit. So basically we have a team. Cyborg has already recruited people, but since Thomas Wayne first turned them down, they all said, if the legendary Batman is not joining, I ain't joining either. And they walked away. So now that they got wind that Batman is actually in, they're coming back. So a lot of them came back, a lot of weird names, a lot of names that I don't remember, some characters that aren't really known, because Geoff Johns in this book said he bring a lot of characters back from way back that people don't really know into this story and re-innovated them. So that's pretty dope. So there's also a character that is familiar in this story, Flashpoint. His name is Shazam. You guys know what Shazam is about. Basically a little boy, Billy Batson, got the powers, got the wizard, and he got the wisdom of Solomon, the speed of Hermes, the might and knowledge of blah blah blah. But what's different is that in this story, it's not just one boy. It's 6 different kids who are who individually have one of the powers. You know, so one kid has the speed of Hermes, one kid has the wisdom of Solomon, one kid has the might of Zeus, so on, so on, so on, and they all have to agree to say Shazam at the same time, and then boom, they become Shazam. It's exactly like Captain Planet. It's the Planeteers. And when by your powers combine, and then Captain Planet comes out. Think of it like that. That's what the Shazam is. I think that's pretty cool. I really like that version, that little twist on it. That was nice. So basically they mentioned that they already fought Wonder Woman before. These kids they debate and argue. They're just children. Should we turn into Shazam? Should we say Shazam to help? They were like, remember last time we fought Wonder Woman? We almost died. So Wonder Woman's a savage in this world. So they're like, yeah, whatever, man. We're going to help. We're going to help Batman. Let's do it. So now they have Shazam on the team and other people on the team. And then you have Lois Lane, who's also in this world, who's infiltrated Themyscira for months. And she's actually finding out everything about the Themyscirans and what they're about. And then she's about to die in a tunnel because they found out, who was that? No, she thought she was about to die, and she was blindsided by, what's that demon's name? Etrigan. Basically, his name is Etrigan. I remember now. So Etrigan's over there, and he's part of this group that's actually been trying to fight against Aquaman and Wonder Woman on the low, called the not the Defenders, the Resistance. So it's a little small group there's actually groups out there that's trying to fight against Aquaman and Wonder Woman, but they're just unsuccessful. So Lois Lane is a part of that. And also, Steve Trevor's in this story. Captain Steve Trevor was sent by the American forces. He's a little bit older, and he was sent to Themyscira to infiltrate and, do his spy thing. And actually, Wonder Woman was the one who caught Steve Trevor, interrogated him with the lasso of truth, choked him with the lasso of truth. And when Steve Trevor finally said, I'm Steve Trevor, I'm here to find Lois Lane and blah, 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 she executed Steve Trevor. She choked him out, broke his neck. That's what bugged me too. Wonder Woman, the one who was in love with Steve Trevor and everything that he meant to her in our world, was the very same woman who murdered him in this world. So that was beautiful how they put that in there. And it was really disturbing. And I think Geoff Johns used that because he knew how important it was and how it showed us how different and crazy this world is. And it was that scene there where I was like, wow, okay, we're in the thick of it. So basically, after Batman, Flash, and Cyborg and the rest of the team take Shazam and they go to the actual time, they boom to the battle. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, they start to fight. The Atlanteans and Amazons are clashing. The big war is coming. They're fighting. Boom, boom, getting it done. Aquaman's like, you bitch, you killed my wife. She's like, you should have sent your wife to freaking kill me, motherfucker. You wearing her crown. I don't give a freak, motherfucker. Bam, they're doing the thing. Bow, bow. Everybody's fading and fighting. And here come the little boys. The little kids, they say Shazam, boom, they go into Shazam and they go straight for Wonder Woman. Bitch, last time you got me, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't ready, but I'm ready now. So Shazam tackles Wonder Woman, starts to put some serious magical hands on her. Wonder Woman's kind of like, fuck, what's going on? He was like, yeah, I'm about this business. And then the betrayal happened. Enchantress, who was a part of Cyborg and Batman's team, put a spell on Shazam and made him call on Shazam, and the Thunderbolt transformed them back into kids again. And everybody was like, oh my God, Enchantress, it's Enchantress that's working with them. And then I think it was Aquaman or Wonder Woman. I believe it might have been Aquaman rolled up on the little kid. I think it was Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman rolled up on the little kid and stabbed him through the back and killed one of the boys that turned into Shazam. And that was freaking crazy. So look, children get murdered in this motherfucker. That's crazy right there. So the depth is there. And that eliminated Shazam from the battle. Because you need all 6 of them to turn into Shazam. So now Shazam is done out the way. Everybody's fighting. Boom, boom, boom. And in the midst of all this chaos, Flash is trying to figure it out. And here comes Reverse Flash. He zooms by and beats the shit out of Flash. And Flash is just getting haymaker, because Flash isn't healed yet from those burns. He's still not as fast as he used to be. He's like, dang, Flash, you real slow. Beating the shit out of him. And then Batman tries to help him, like, try to throw his batarangs. And Reverse Flash is like, nigga, mixes him up, does a nice little combo, knees Batman in the back of the neck, in the gut, million punches him, throws him to the ground. He's like bloody and almost dead on the ground, and he's out of it. I'm like, Batman's done. And he goes back to beating on Barry. He's beating on the Flash. He's like, yeah, how does this feel to know this is all your fault? He's like, and Barry's like, this is your fault, Reverse Flash. This is your fault. This is what you did to this world. What have you done? I can't believe this is crazy. And Reverse Flash is like, you still don't get it. You still don't get it. That I'm here separate from you. I'm going to murder you. And he's like, you can't murder me, blah, 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 because they're one. And Reverse Flash says, you still don't get it. Try to remember. Think about it. Think about what made this world this way. He says, go ahead. This is all your fault, Flash. This is your fault, Barry. You did this. And Barry starts to remember, and he's like, it all comes back to him. Basically, what happened before this story happened is that he went to visit his mother's grave. He does it annually. And it's this one moment in front of the gravestone where he just can't take it anymore. He misses her so much. He mourns her so much. He starts running, and he just runs. He ran back in time to save his mother from being murdered by Reverse Flash. He went back all the way to where he was a kid to save his mother from being murdered. And when he did that, it was the undoing of the whole timeline. It all rippled and it all altered, and he's the reason why this world was created. All this was, and he said, oh my God, it's my fault. I remember. I did this. I ran back in time to save my mom, and this is what happened. It wasn't the Reverse Flash all along. It wasn't him. It was me. And Reverse Flash says, yeah, bask in it. Know that this is your failure, your doing. And on top of that, you've liberated me. Barry's like, what do you mean? Because Reverse Flash only exists if Flash exists. Because Reverse Flash is a negative Speed Force energy of what the Flash is. He's a positive Speed Force energy. So Reverse Flash couldn't exist without the Flash. So he's from the future, Flash is from the present, but he needed to be alive. Barry had to be alive for Reverse Flash to exist. When Flash went back in time to save his mother and changed the timeline, Reverse Flash was also in the time stream. And once he did that, it removed him from being tied to Barry. Which that was the only thing that held Reverse Flash back. That's why Reverse Flash could never kill Barry Allen. Because if you kill Barry Allen, he's going to kill himself. So when he did that, he freed him of that burden. So Reverse Flash says, thank you for that. Thank you for going to save your mother, because now I don't need you to survive. I'll kill you tonight and I'll still live tomorrow. And that's what he was doing. He was beating the shit out of Flash, giving him the business, mixing him up. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, so this fool's he's finna get served up. And then once he's talking shit and he's just beating him and punching him and he's monologuing about how he's gonna kill him, this is over. Right through his back, through his chest, bow, big old spear comes out. It's Batman, bro. He's like, you stood too still for too long. You should always watch your back, bitch. And Reverse Flash is like, oh, gone. Falls into the water. He's done. Batman falls to the ground. And he's dying. And then Wally holds him in his hand. And he's like, and Bruce and Thomas Wayne says, you could still do it. You could still fulfill the promise you made to me. He pulls out like a piece of paper. And the letter says Bruce on it. He's like, here. Promise me you give this to my son. And Flash takes it. He's like, and Flash doesn't know what to do. He says, run. Thomas Wayne says, run, Barry, run. He's like, run, run, run. Exactly how I changed time by going to save my mother's death. I could go back in time and stop myself from trying to save my mom and undo everything. Thomas Wayne, in his last breath, says run or whatever, and he dies. Thomas Wayne dies. Barry takes the letter. He gets the book fast as a motherfucker. Boom, he enters the Speed Force, and he goes in the time where he sees himself in the Speed Force running. So he goes and he sees where he first was going to the Speed Force to save his mom, and he's trying to catch up to him. And the original Flash, who's going to save his mom, looks back and sees the one from Flashpoint. He's like, what the freak? He's like, stop, motherfucker, you can't be doing this. He's like, I'm going to save my mama, motherfucker, freak you. He's like, don't do it, nigga. And he tackles him, bam, tackles him out of the Speed Force. And as soon as he tackled him and stopped him from saving his mom, whoop, everything wipes away. All the stuff gets undone. All of the stuff is back to normal. And boom, he wakes back up at the desk. He's like, Barry, we got to do the news, man. We've been doing this for 18 hours. We got to crack this case. He's like, huh? He looks at the screen. Captain Cold, Rogues Gallery. He's like, hey, what about the Flash? He's like, what about the Flash? All right, the Flash exists. What about Superman? Yeah, what about Superman? Superman exists. He's like, cool. First thing he does, he books it out of there. He runs to Batman's Batcave. And he's like, Bruce. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, Bruce, is it you? Is it really you? He's like, yes, Flash, it's me. What's wrong? And then he tells him the whole story. And it shows a scene of them just talking back and forth. And, he basically prologues, expedites the story. And then Batman is basically like, so you went to the past to save your mothers from dying and change the time reality, and you had to go back and fix it by going back in time, and now we're back to normal? Flash was like, yeah, basically that's it. And it's all my fault. I feel so bad. And Batman says, don't beat yourself up over it, Barry. If I was in your position and I had your powers, I would have did the exact same thing. And don't for a second think that I don't think about it all the time. It was that moment where Barry said, Bruce, there's something I haven't told you. I have this letter from your father. And what instantly happened to Batman's face, everything, it reminded me of why I used to love Batman, why I fell in love with the character Batman. Not because of who he is now, because I'm Batman, bullshit, popular, stigma, just because it's the heart of his character. All of that went away. He was like, you did? You saw my father? He said, here's a letter from him. Batman took the letter. His face was, he had such an insecurity. He turned back into the little kid. He turned back into who he really is. He's Bruce Wayne and always will be Bruce Wayne. He turned back to that. Forget the cowl. Forget the death of the parent. Forget the vengeance. Forget Joker. Forget Two-Face. In my hand, I hold a letter from my father to me. And he opens it. And he reads it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's to the end of this. And it was reading this that made me cry. I shed tears reading this freaking graphic novel. This comic book. Because here it is. Here's where he gets the actual book. The letter. He reads it. And instantly starts to cry. And it was right there where I realized why I used to love Batman. Because he's not this stigma that everybody loves so much. He's not this because I'm Batman bullshit stigma. He says right here, you can read the beginning of the letter. It says, "Dear son, there's only one thing that I know about life. I know some things happen by chance." And then you can't read the rest until the end of the letter. It says, "Love always, your father, Thomas." It brought me to tears because I started to think about my father, because my father abandoned us. And it made me emotional. I started to cry. And it was there that I understood and I remembered, this is who Batman is. This is who he's just like, he's so similar to the Superman. He's a nice guy. He's not this evil, menacing. That's bullshit. Superman just goes right to the point. They end up at the same place. Batman just takes a little time to get there. Different methods. They just have different methods. They believe in the same thing. Batman just gets douchey in order to do his little thing. That's why I used to love Batman. Not this other shit that everybody else is on. And it was beautiful, man. He's reading this letter from his father. My dad died. Bruce Wayne says, my dad is dead, yet you're bringing me a letter from him where he actually lived and he's talking to me? He just cried. Like, I'm freak, this letter is everything. And he even said it in this novel. It was such a simple exchange of words that was so beautiful. He says it. He says, "You're one hell of a messenger, Barry. Thank you." And then Flash says, "You're welcome, Bruce." And then that's it. The end. The end. What a beautiful ending to that story, man. That was so powerful. And it just, that's why I said read material, novels, comic books will always mean more to the reader than an actual movie. Because if you watch a movie, it's what the director wants you to see. It's not what you're seeing when you're reading it. Nothing will live up to what you read and understand with your own imagination. When your imagination gets involved, nothing can match that because it's unique to who you are. That's why when people try to get this to be in film and they expect it and they get disappointed with this experience that you're doing when you're reading and you're mad because you didn't get that in the film, it's not meant for that. It's impossible to make this experience happen in film the way you would experience it reading these and using your imagination. It just doesn't happen that way. I love that ending, and it reminded me of why I used to love Batman. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I give Flashpoint an A+. Yo, win. Perfect. Perfect. Truth of the matter is that halfway through this review, my microphone messed up. And I got really emotional and I started crying like a little baby. And I could barely even talk while giving this review about that Batman letter. This is the second time I'm doing it, and just thought I'd let you guys know how. And it must be fate. It must be fate because my mic stopped working. It's working now. But yeah, what an amazing story. A+, perfect, just because of the way it made me feel. It resonated with me personally. And it reminded me, just like he got reminded of the love of his fatherness and why he's being Batman in the first place. He got reminded why he does what he does. I got reminded of why I even love Batman in the first place off of this book. And for that is why it gets that A+. Alright, subscribe to the channel, guys. Sorry if this was all over the place because I had microphone issues. Apologies. Alright, subscribe to the channel for more comic reviews. Next up will be, I have Superman Rebirth, which I'm going to catch up on. And I'll catch you guys up on Superman Rebirth. But I'm going to do next is going to be Kingdom Come, baby. Graphic novel, Elseworld story by Mark Waid and Alex Ross. Alex Ross does amazing work, by the way. Kingdom Come is coming your way next. I already did the Infinity Gauntlet. It's on my channel now. Subscribe to the channel for more real content. I'm Jody Joe, and I'm out this thing, man. Deuces.